Hey everybody, welcome back once again. I got James and Nabil with me. How you guys doing?
What is up?
Hey, Chris.
Hey James. So we were just talking right before I had to cut Nabil off because I want everyone to hear this story. Apparently, Nabil is filming another podcast now for his work. Nabil, just go ahead and tell us all about what you're doing
Yeah,
exactly.
so I was inspired by our recent Little League podcasts, and so um, I suggested for we have the Spark program at BKF Engineers, and it's a mentorship program where we pair like proteges and mentors together.
Mhm.
And so for fun, I decided to start a podcast where I interview different people in their who are in different parts of their careers. And so I'm starting a podcast thanks to you guys. So I'm going to have a professional mic soon, and that's going to be wonderful. But I'm also like part of a whole nother thing that is essentially the wow of my company. And they're all like, these are great ideas, and I'm totally just stealing stuff that we've done before. So,
Hey man, great artists steal. That's
amen.
Do you bring this persona to that podcast?
I definitely less cussing, a little more goofy, definitely, but
An equal amount of like racial / women jokes?
no.
No, okay.
I'm a lot more appropriate, especially because
it.
so the
This is offstage Nabil. On stage
yeah.
Nabil is yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Like is it for
I
his
mean, my company
on
is
stage, yeah.
aware of offstage Nabil.
Yeah.
I mean, just ask the two girls they dated in HR.
When are you? When dated two different girls in HR at the same time?
No, not at the same time. Just right after each other.
The bad boy of the engineering world.
Dude,
What's
getting
got to do it?
into HR girls, that's the way to do it though.
Live on the edge.
James, how is everything in Chicago? Is it super
Flawless
cold there?
transition.
No, hold on. I'm just done talking about Nabil for a bit. James, is it cold as balls out there? What's the
Yeah, we have like off and on dustings, but it's low freezing.
yeah?
Um, yeah, got a exercise bike for the winter.
Nice.
Gonna be pedaling away.
Good.
Peloton, or is it the off-brand?
Oh no, it's like $130 one off Amazon.
Okay, Nabil, do you have like a lava lamp on, or like what is the
Oh,
what's
so
the
you
lighting
see, the thing is, you guys never got to see the full glory, but like now we got like a light that like changes colors. I don't even know if you could tell on the computer, but
Oh, you can tell. It's gonna
yeah. In the back, I know, but
Yeah, it's like a police car whose siren is slowly
really
turning.
slow. Yeah.
I'm just in a different dimension where time moves slower.
Okay, I do want to at some point talk about Spencer's match just because that was absolutely insane. So let's just like
Welcome to the league,
yeah, dude, 209.2 points, the third highest of all time. Take a look at it now. Obviously, I mean, having Tyreek Hill and Derrick Henry like is always kind of like he has the potential for those guys to each have 30-point games, right? Like and get a nice 60-point base from your WR1, your RB1, but the 57.9 by Tyreek is just insane. The 38.5 by Derrick Henry is also just an incredible score. But like, great job overall. Like when Michael Thomas is your lowest scoring uh, skill position player, like hopefully that means he had a great day. And it's weird, or like in order to score a lot, it's like hopefully he did okay. And like this was an okay game, but like, wow. Just wow. Thoughts from either of you on the specifics of Spencer's big day.
Do it in playoffs.
Two thoughts. As the person he played against, it was actually like a very satisfying loss, having traded off a few pieces
Right.
for draft picks. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. Go ahead, James.
I'm just happy to have lost in this way.
Yeah.
Instead of making me think, what if? I'm glad I went down and just a flame of glory. Anyway, back to you, Nabil.
I mean, this has to, I don't actually have a point other than what I said for this, but what you just said is almost polar opposite of what happened for me and how satisfying my win was. Because I sold my pieces to the person who I essentially said, I'll give you the win. And I beat him. And I put up like my best week of the season, which is so frustrating because having Eckler back was just such a like a huge change. But I totally forgot about the trade window up until Saturday. So
It's past
probably
now.
yeah, I know. I probably could have sold maybe a piece or two right before, but I honestly got so busy with the holiday that
Yeah, it's a weird time to have it, but since it has to be on a Saturday in Yahoo, we just make it as late as possible, you know. But yeah, well done to Spencer. James, I've been there before. Like sometimes, like you put up a 117, you're not really fighting for a playoff spot yet or anymore. Might as well get beat by the third highest score in the league history. And you still put up like a decent, like a 117.42, like that wins,
would it have won this
30,
week? What
40.
were the scores like?
He would have beat me. He would have beat, yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're the six, you're right there, like the sixth highest score. You're middle of the pack. You just, sometimes you're the sixth highest score and you play the number one score. It happens. But yeah, hold on. Let's talk about.
Technically, I think you just said that he's the seventh highest or seventh highest. You went backwards, so it would have been seventh highest.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores that are lower, right? Oh, I did go backwards. And then 6 is him. Yeah. Thank you for
Good math.
Gold star for Nabil.
Hashtag engineer.
But yeah, let's take a look at what exactly. And Hoyt, God, he's gonna hate us so much for this. But I mean,
he's still in sixth right now.
Jonnu Smith goose egg washes out with the Jared Cook goose egg. I just what?
Boy, that's my second goose egg with Cook. I don't know what's happening there. It's definitely because Breeze is out, but like, holy shit.
Well, that was just a weird game too, though. Like New Orleans just started running the ball. Like, I mean, they realized that there was absolutely no reason for them to have to try to score a ton of points. Like they were going to get it, they were going to get their shots, but the defense wasn't giving up. There was no way they were giving up a touchdown. And it was that wasn't even really a fair fight, and that sucks. I'm sure it sucks for Hoyt to watch his favorite team just get absolutely screwed by a bunch of rules basically, and then to lose with no points at all basically from either Kamara or CEH. Rough way to slip a little bit outside of playoffs. So I actually want to talk about that real quick, Nabil, because I've done some math. I've added some stuff up. So looking at this, this is the record as of Wednesday evening. We're recording this. It's about 5:17 right now. So this is not up to date with the current state of affairs. How it actually looks, Rocha is in first. He has not clinched the bye yet, though, because he'll be 10-2, one game ahead of both Kevin and Drew, who have all clinched a playoff spot at 9-3. Kevin and Drew each can theoretically finish as high as 1, 2, or 3, but those three are locked into the top three. And you've got me at fourth. I'm 7-5. Travis is in fifth at 6-6. Spencer is just behind him, also at 6-6. And then Hoyt is the only team right now outside the playoffs who still has a shot. Hoyt is a game behind Spencer and Travis. So working our way back up, in order to clinch that playoff spot, Hoyt needs a win. He needs Travis or Spencer to lose, and then he needs to catch them as well in points. Travis has a 138.6 point lead over Hoyt. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that Travis is not going to catch Hoyt. Spencer has a 58.94 lead over Hoyt because of the massive 290 just put up. So it's a big lead, but it's not insurmountable. Hoyt can absolutely catch Spencer, but then let's take a look at the matchup.
Wait, I think I do need to correct you. You said something about Travis not being able to catch up, but Travis is ahead.
Travis
what you're
ahead.
saying.
Sorry, I meant Hoyt can't catch.
Yeah.
But are those points for also accounting this week because the records haven't been updated yet?
I'm looking at my own. I can send you guys. I've updated the total. I'm looking at a piece of paper that midnight tonight it will reflect exactly what's on the screen.
Cool.
But like Hoyt also didn't put above 100. I don't know what Travis did, so I don't think he necessarily gained ground.
No, that's what I'm saying. As when the points are tallied up, including week 12, Hoyt will be 138 points behind Travis, and he'll be not 58 points. I was looking at Spencer is 58.9 behind Travis. Hoyt's actually 79.66 behind Spencer. So I was wrong a third time today. Hoyt's only shot at the playoffs really at this point. He's not going to catch Travis. Just 138. If he does, I will. Hoyt, I'll give you your entry fee back. But it's not going to happen that he catches Travis by 138 points. I don't see.
Sit your players, Travis.
Without any shenanigans, I would do that. He needs to win, which Hoyt is playing against you, James. So not trying to. So you can knock Hoyt out of the playoffs with a win here. So he needs to win, but he also needs to outscore Spencer by 80.
Oof.
And we got to go back to week 13. And Spencer needs to lose to Devin. Right. So there's a lot like if Devin doesn't get the win over Spencer, it doesn't matter because Spencer and Travis can both just win and they're in. So Hoyt needs a lot. Travis or Spencer can both pass me for fourth place. Pretty much if they win and I lose, either one of them will pass me. So I could fall all the way down to 6th, but no lower. Drew is 107 points behind Rocha, so he would need Rocha loss and a win, and make up over 109 points or 107 points to catch Ryan. Kevin is only 36 points behind Rocha, 36.1, so he would need a win, a Rocha loss, and then he could catch Rocha for the 1 seed. Not that it matters. But he's also he's 77.6 points ahead of Drew. So pretty much Kevin wins, he gets the 2 seed unless Drew wins and explodes. Drew gets the bye with a win and a Kevin loss. They both lose, it'll probably be Kevin still. And if either one of them loses or Rocha wins, Rocha will clinch a bye. So that's what there's actually honestly not that much happening. It's very much looking like it's probably going to be some combination of Drew, me, Travis, and Spencer in the first round. Winners go on to play Rocha and Kevin. And from there, we've got our Splatty Bowl. It's not impossible, but Hoyt is on the outside looking in as of right now. And
he's looking like he's got as good a chance as Denver had this last week.
I feel bad.
I do too.
I feel like the second time we hyped up his team, he goes, it just doesn't make playoffs. No.
Let's take a look at
you.
It just makes me happy a little.
The one thing we won't do it yet for Hoyt, but the thing I kind of want to do with you guys now is actually look at some of the teams who have been eliminated and go through I want to do 3 teams a week, I think, at this point. I just kind of look through their schedule. So, a quick snapshot of what we got for Hoyt. Where is he?
Kind of playing
just like kind of
optimal prime.
Yeah, just kind of go through the season.
Through the season.
So I do want to do that for some of the teams who have been eliminated. Or maybe we just wait until week 13 to do that. No, hold on. Let's that's what I was thinking. I want to start with the 2 of you. We'll do we'll do James, we'll do Nabil, and we'll pick someone else who's already been eliminated. I just want to kind of run through the season. I think that might be a fun way to give everyone a little farewell as we focus only on the playoff teams after that. So let's so James or Nabil, which team you want to look at first?
Rock, paper, scissors. Loser
Okay,
goes.
ready. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay,
Look at
again, we tied. This is so cool. Rock, paper, scissors.
I thought it was shoot.
Oh, sorry. Well, you won
Nabil, we're
anyway.
doing you first.
Okay.
All right, let's take a look at Nabil.
I
Bad
mean-
guy Brady. So just an overview for Nabil. We'll look at this. Just start out with no nothing. We've talked about this a bunch. Nothing over 125, but nothing under 100 until a couple weeks ago when he started selling off the team. 1-1 start. You think, okay, he's got he's got and a close win over me too keeps you in it. Because really, if you don't get that win, Nabil, then you're off. And again, this is the game Saquon Barkley got hurt in the second drive of the game. You're that close to starting out with 5 straight losses. At what point, though, just kind of looking at overview, are you thinking okay, now, obviously we talked every week and it's like, no, I'm still in it. I got a shot. I can't. But looking back, when do you think the turning point was that you were clearly not headed to the playoffs?
Week 6, when I realized that for 6 weeks I had never nailed a quarterback selection. No, if I'm being serious, I think one thing to look at is I didn't, other than the week that I won, week 2, I really did have a pretty tough schedule. So I think there was just what I kept telling myself for the first 6 weeks was, I got unlucky this week. I'll get better next week. Because for a long time before Eckler's injury, it literally was my quarterback selection. Because if you add 10 points to a lot of those scores, you start getting into the high teens or in the 20s, and that's just enough to win.
Yeah, let's look at it week by week then, just a tad bit. Where are you? Bye Brady.
Oh God, I have to relive this. And I got bad beats by Drake. That was the other one who that kind of sounds like it's an advertisement for Beats headphones, but
oftentimes though, when you look at your week 1 roster, look at this, Drew Brees IR, Odell Beckham IR, Will Fuller suspended. I know I'm that's so the suspension just happened. There's a whole lot of other stuff that happened for them, but Deshaun Jackson IR, Joe Burrow IR. This is a pretty.
Eckler was on IR for most of the season.
Eckler was on IR for most of the season. He's not yet. He just came off.
Odell goes out. Yeah.
So it's but this lists their current status. So what as far as injury luck goes, I don't think you had all of your complaints about not starting the right quarterback, that's whatever. That's on you. That's fantasy. But you definitely had a lot of injuries to deal with. This is just
I mean, I had bad beats. I'm not gonna sit here and say oh, my team was perfect. It was just injuries. Because I mean, everything looked all right for Odell Beckham. I did think Deshaun Jackson in the beginning was gonna kind of start off where he left off previous season. So in my head, I was always doing Fuller, Beckham to be my 1-2. And then at that point was going to run with 3 running backs until bye weeks. And that's why I picked up people like Crowder, Judy, who I thought would bloom towards the end and kind of has. So it's for me, it was, I always had a solid flex and I had people I can plug in. And I honestly went in with the confidence of I will not score under 120, which didn't end up happening. Really, I never got there, but I think a lot of it comes down to it's just when your wide receiver 1 doesn't pan out, and then you are relying on. I mean, honestly, Fuller was a good fill-in, but then I'm playing around with the flex, hoping that Drake was going to hit or that CEH was going to do well. Because Eckler, I mean, for the most part, carried my team.
He did.
While he was able to play.
Yeah, I gave you a lot of shit for beating me by a single point this week, but you had so many little decisions that even playing Breeze over Brady, you probably weren't gonna play Burrow yet, but getting 0 out of Fuller, you actually have a lot of bench production in week 2, even though it was only 100 points you got total in the win. Here, Eckler carries you. You make all the switches, the guys who just performed, they don't perform this week. Not just at the quarterback position, but you swap in Deshaun Jackson for Will Fuller, and then they flip flop who gets the single digit points and who gets the double digits. If you start clicking through week by week, you can tell, I think your team just had consistency issues. Like, you know, like in fantasy, sometimes it's so nice to have elite players where you don't have to make those decisions, or like they're all bad, so who cares? And like, you know, like if your bench only scores like 4 points total, like you're fine with it as long as like the one, like the guy that you picked had like 3 catches for 20 yards. So at least he got me 5, you know, like, and you just kind of had a lot and Tannehill on the bench for
And
30.
you really did mess up every quarterback decision.
Thank you guys. Thanks. Because then I dropped Breeze, and then by the time Michael Thomas came back, Breeze went on kind of like a tear for a while. But yeah, look, then I Brady 14. Like I don't think until I ended up making trades or trading away Brady and like really solidifying just one quarterback did I start like getting decent production out of them. And then by then I was so ravaged by my team
Totally.
and injuries. So no, I mean,
Like,
hey, I'm
here's
not that discouraged. It's like one of those, it's like when your stars just don't show up, it's like, well, not my year.
so like Kenyon Drake, 28.4 on the bench with Kareem Hunt when he was still in Cleveland, only getting 7.7. And I think I remember that you might have made the switch the next week. Nope, you didn't.
So
You did not.
no, Hunt, I was pretty confident in. I think that was just an off week. But if you look, I think that was the week that I lost Eckler, so I had to play Hunt. So it was Hunt and CEH.
Yeah.
But
we won't
I
click
mean-
through the whole season since you did say we think you pretty much thought it was over at week 6. And I think also now my Yahoo doesn't want to load. But yeah, I think you're right though in assessing that like you didn't make a ton of mistakes, you just had bad luck, and that is going to happen. And
that's where fantasy
like,
is. There is a point of it where it is luck. It's like you can make all this. I think, you know, there's the saying you can't win your draft or you can't win your league at the draft, but you can lose it.
Yeah.
And but I don't even think I did that. I think I'm in the weird, like I just got unlucky. In the end, this is a game of luck, and I don't know.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
James, let's take a look at the schedule for you. Just, I mean, obviously, I know like we don't have to look at this too long, but the 3 wins to start out with 130 points minimum. Bad week against me, like decent week here, just don't pull it out. Decent week here, don't pull it out. Bad week here. So like realistically, at this point, you're 3-4, and you should be, you know, like these obviously were all wins. Like this, like you should have 2 losses, but like, do you kind of feel at this point in like looking at like I'm saying through here, like through the 113, that like maybe you even have a chance to only have 1 loss? Like,
no, I think through there I was like, all right, well, I'll make the playoffs for sure. But with Chubb out for an extended period of time, I think at that point I was starting to be like, oh, I have no running back depth. This could get bad. But then like another close loss. And then after like 6 losses in a row, it was like, okay, now I'm in deep, deep trouble.
Do you think the psychology of losing that many in a row like wore on you and like made you think you were out of it earlier than you actually were? Or were you like, did you do a good job at keeping yourself like just even keel? Like, you know, it doesn't matter when the wins or losses happen, like they're, you know, they all count the same.
It did start to feel a little inevitable. And I know I had like an opportunity to trade for Antonio Gibson without giving up that much. And I should have made that move, but it felt pretty early on. It was like, well, if I make it, I'll get lucky. Might as well just write it out instead of starting to get a little offensive with it.
Yeah. Only 2, right? I'm looking at week 6, week 8, and week 9, where you have 3 losses by a combined, you know, 2, 2, and 4, like basically like right around 10 points total. I'm curious, is there any decision that you like looking at your bench now in this week? Like, was there any game or like were you thinking of starting Ayuk at all over Chark? Like, was that even in your head as like an option? Like, where like you make that decision differently and you win the match?
Yeah, I think throughout the season there's probably multiple like that. Like I know like Ayuk, Chark
I
were
clicked on the
both
one.
always kind of
I clicked on the 1 week that is not actually gonna flip the script actually on you.
yeah.
The Johnson, yeah.
That was his first week after the Chubb injury. That hurt.
And you think, don't play Ertz against Baltimore, take anyone against the Jets right here, like
Mhm.
make that decision a little bit differently, and like that turns into a win
Yep.
pretty easily with just one switch. And then we'll click into week 8.
Oh, I picked up Baker off the waivers just to play because Deshaun Watson had a bye,
That's right.
and I could have picked any other quarterback.
Oh, well, yeah,
Philip Lindsay
Philip
too.
Lindsay probably aren't going to play Lindsay over Jacobs, even that would have been enough to push you over.
Kelly for sure.
Maybe instead of Kelly though, like is that a decision? Like,
yeah, that was another one too where I thought I was safe picking up Kelly, and all of a sudden Eckler goes down, and I was like, I found a gem, and then he just turned out to be not a good running back.
Yeah, Chris, do you remember that podcast where I said that Justin Jackson was actually the Eckler fill-in and probably just wasn't ready for the game script?
I do remember you saying that.
Yeah.
So today's theme apparently is that Nabil is actually right about a lot of things.
Damn straight. Except my team, except OBJ.
Except
quarterback.
Actually, which is actually even funny because as Hoyt, and I knew I made the wrong decision there. So
God, let's take a look at one more team who's eliminated. Just because I've been talking about how he has been basically out of it for a while. Let's take a look at Hunter's schedule. Oops, we don't want to click into there. And we're not going to necessarily go through week by week, but taking a look here, big win, good score for him in week 1. Oh, that's my schedule. Against him. Sorry, big win for me. Guys, work's been a lot. Okay, it's been a lot. Not a good score until here. He gets the win over Kevin.
Here being week 4.
Week 4. Sorry. Yeah, I guess not everybody. Actually, do you know if most people watch this on YouTube, or they just like?
I would assume, at least based on what Drew telling me that he listens to on the way to work and how I listen to it, which is just turn on the YouTube, turn on the YouTube and watch it.
But Hunter's season just like it kind of feels like it was one that was over before it started. I mean, we were joking about it at the draft, and I just want to go back to it. Like, Hunter takes Michael Thomas late. He's got Terry McLaurin as with the Rule 9 pick early in the 2nd round. Thielen is probably a great keeper there for him in the 3rd round, but then no picks until 6, where he drafts Antonio Gibson. And like, honestly, like Hunter did everything he could, I think, at this point. I mean, I still think taking McLaurin in the 2nd was a reach. But he got him locked in for next year. Thielen was a great pick. Like, Gibson worked out. Breida didn't, but like by the time he was drafting Breida, like there's so many other running backs taken off the board.
Yeah, Boston running back, a good pick.
Boston Scott's a good pick. Like, you never know with New England running backs, but you got to get somebody. He kept Lamar, or Lamar was he traded for him and kept him. Tight end was so crappy this year that like, who cares? Like, I don't know. He's probably Jasicki was probably picked before Jack Doyle. Like, realistically, like Hunter didn't actually do poorly this year. He just set himself up to fail last year. I think the story of Hunter's season. Like, he didn't draft poorly given the huge handicap that he had.
Yeah, I think what he did lock in, and so we do a little bit of a compliment sandwich here, is the fact that he has Terry McLaurin, who actually looks pretty dang good. Like, and he was maybe a little inconsistent throughout the season, but like, he is the number 1 target. I think he is the hype that people made it out to be, and he's going into his 3rd season, next year, which I believe is like either most people's contract season or the season that it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
So, yeah, James, any other thoughts?
Are we able to see if he, like, where he spent most of his fab or if he didn't spend it?
We can look at that. Yeah, give me a second.
Fab transactions, go to league. I look at it all the time.
Because that was something that really capped me was I think I spent like 60 on, what was it, Deontay Johnson, who
Like we could just pull up all of his transactions. Not feeling it. And then I think he made over 25. And
You can specify just Fab, by the way.
Oh, we could do just Fab. Yeah, let's just do that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm just writing again.
Well, I was gonna look at all transactions. I realized it's probably not like this.
Just being an
okay.
asset.
But then do Fab offers
And then go to his team.
and then go to his team. Like that's annoying. You have to do it in that order.
you would be looking at this, Nabil.
Did he not?
Fab offers.
Did-
No, okay. Let's just look at added players.
I don't know. Maybe he hasn't spent money on anyone. I mean, really, why spend
No,
Fab?
everyone has spent some amount of money. It's really annoying. Fab
Holy shit.
offer.
Doesn't he also have the most players added? So you're gonna need to go to a couple pages. I think he's at like.
I think we have to look at all transactions. Like Fab offers and him together does not do anything. So let's just look at all transactions. And it doesn't show you the Fab dollars on this. Great. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's got over 50 transactions. Okay, so yeah, $1 in Minnesota, $1 in Darrell Williams, $2 in Washington. A lot of dink and dunk on defenses and like flex plays. And then we come back down here, like $1 in Devontae Booker.
Brian
This is
Hill.
big. $22 on Brian Hill.
Remember we talked about this one, Chris, because I think it was when Gurley was looking.
Well, so
terrible.
So look at the date. That was on September the 30th when he picked up Brian Hill, and Brian Hill had just had his high. That's his high point of the season. He scored 15 against Chicago. Scored his only touchdown of the season so far. Looks like did Freeman get injured or something?
Freeman's not on Falcons. It's
Sorry.
Gurley.
Did Gurley get injured or something?
No, it's just that he was really lackluster and had been for the remainder of the season as well. So I think it was weird because he just kind of had those games that he just blew up. But he probably, if you actually look at the game, he probably just had like one big catch for like 40 yards or something. That's probably what happened with Brian
I
Hill.
think he got like a receiving touchdown.
Yeah, I think it was like a wheel route and he just caught it at like the 45 or something.
Yeah, 58 yards and a touchdown on the ground is 12.8. So that means he also got some passing work in. But there's not like that's the only time he scored all year. You know, so again, I don't think that's a bad pickup to go for it. Like it didn't pan out. Cameron Brate, $9. You know, this was right as it looked like Gronk was not gonna do anything but block for Tampa Bay. This pickup was made on October 7th.
He had Jeff Wilson there. He drops him too.
That's right. Yeah,
that could have been huge.
The Tim Patrick pickup ended up being pretty good. You know, double-digit scores until he had you know, a guy who literally was working like at a grocery store 24 hours before he started his first NFL game throwing the ball. New England, $6, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but it's also like towards the end of the year, who cares as much? Get the guy you want. $2 for Matt Breida, 2 for Jason Sanders.
He makes that trade too.
Which trade? This one? The Michael Thomas trade or the next one coming up?
Michael Thomas trade. He kind of punts early-ish.
Yeah,
mid-October. I mean,
week 6 is when he's making that trade, right? So at that point, I think he's got 1 win. He knows his team is crap. He's super behind in points already. Like he's like, again, Hunter set his team up to fail by going all in last year, drafted well, but just like didn't pull off a miracle to get, to 500 by this point. So he's already, he's punting at this point, right? Like, I think this trade definitely signifies the end of Hunter's season as far as trying to win.
Agreed.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to do, the Des Bryant pickup was also fun too. One more thing I want to do that I will not ask the two of you to do for your own teams. I don't want to divulge your own thoughts yet. That wouldn't be fair. But let's look at Hunter's roster and just talk about who his potential keepers are going into the next year. So he's obviously got Terry McLaurin, at 12th round value. I think is super good.
You keep Lamar Miller
at 5. Well, that's
not Lamar Miller, Lamar Jackson.
Let's just list everyone.
All right, let's go down.
Terry McLaurin in the 12th, Antonio Gibson in the 5th, Damian Harris in the 8th, DJ Dallas in the 15th, and Lamar Jackson in the 10th. Yeah, like who would you keep out of that? Like if assuming like he doesn't make any trades or anything like that, like if you're like what are your thoughts on who he would keep, or who would you keep?
I want to preface that I don't mind doing this for my team because I think 6 months from now no one's going to listen back to this exact podcast, but
you can go back
or it could also be, you know, trade conversations ahead of time. But I think it's Terry, and I think you have to give Lamar Jackson one more shot. He's been really inconsistent, but he just does so much on his feet that yeah. I'm just looking, and I don't think DJ Dallas is really going to be Dallas's or the Seahawks' future, because I mean they just give the ball to Chris Carson. I think Chris Carson has proven he's good enough. Antonio Gibson maybe, but 5th round on a Washington running back doesn't necessarily scream pizzazz and money. And
James, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think you keep McLaurin for sure.
Right.
And then I think I would keep Gibson just for what a premium running backs are. And he's looked good this year. And I think that's a team on the rise. And then I also think you can trade Lamar. He's the one that's going to get you, like, I think the most value because he had such a big season that he'd be the easiest to trade.
Yeah, I'm torn between Gibson and Lamar. I think Lamar Jackson like had such a poor season, and now with the COVID diagnosis, like it's like that. I don't know. It's tough. Like I feel like McLaurin is obviously like he has to do it. Like Hunter spent way too much draft capital this season to not keep McLaurin, but I'm torn. Like Gibson looks like he could be solid. That he could be an RB1 next year, at the very least an RB2. And if you're getting that in the 5th round, like I'll take it. But also, like, is there gonna? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot very similar value in a running quarterback like Lamar Jackson in the 10th round. So I'm torn between the two, and which one does he end up trading? We'll see.
I would like to just say though, what's interesting, right, is we are getting closer, whether it's this season or next season, that the keeper values of the running backs that were the steals, like the ones that people had for years, are, if not at the end of their good value, they're pretty darn close, right? So it's like you don't necessarily need to keep someone like, so we can go to like my last year, right? Like Drake and Eckler, it made sense because I had them, 3rd and 4th round or something like that, or 4th and 5th. But it was what the value was is, okay, I can get those two guys and focus early on the draft for better talent. But now if you push everyone up, maybe it's not worth keeping what is Kamara next year, or like what is Connor next year. Like if these people start getting into the round 3s, maybe you keep value and then you could draft them about that same. Like there's just a bigger pool of running backs, I think, since no one's got a steal.
Eckler was a 4th and Drake was a 5th, for those of you who can't see the YouTube screen. I've got the draft pulled up. Yeah, no, that's a really interesting point. Like I think something I text with Kevin about a lot, just like how different the keeper values have changed. Like not that like we've changed, like, or we've gotten better, but just like I think the ebb and flow of the league like is going to have changing importance in what like positions should be kept at what round, because like those massive running back contracts essentially like are all washed up.
I think with that, like wide receivers are kind of the new trend. And like as someone who again year back to back has given up the like star after his like blow up year, right? Like with Godwin and then Metcalf, like those guys have turned out to be high valued wide receivers that are like helping teams win.
Yeah.
We kind of mocked, to some extent Drew's team and what he made, but like Metcalf was huge in giving him like consistent big production.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. James, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I personally am like coming to the realization I always want to go RB heavy, because I think the wide receiver position is so much easier to find someone on waivers. But this year there was enough guys taken towards the top of the draft that it makes you, I think, just like if you see someone like DK or Calvin Ridley, or like they have as much value as like an RB2 now.
Right. Yeah. So Nabil, just talking to, like, I want to look at like these are the top scoring running backs, and so obviously there's guys who got injured who aren't going to be on this list because this is the total rankings. It's not fantasy points per game, but like Kamara is currently the RB1 at third round. Like, yes, Kamara's absolutely still keeping,
right.
Like clearly Gibson, like fifth round, like he's gonna, like right now, if the season ended today, Gibson would be RB5 for the season. Like to me, that's why, like, as much as Lamar Jackson was the number one, like, I think was he number one or was McCaffrey number one last? Like they were 1 and 2 overall. So how can you not take him to 10th? There's just like what James is getting to. Like you need to have one of those top running backs, and they're harder to get than receivers are. But you also, having a mobile quarterback is also huge too. Looking at Aaron Jones, he is absolutely still keepable in the 4th round. Ronald Jones in the 3rd, maybe. It really depends on how the roster situation works out in Tampa Bay. Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I'm not letting him go.
Yeah, no, that's a good, like, so like Kareem Hunt that's not the Devontae Freeman contract, right? Like he hasn't had that much production, but like that's still like I don't know that all of the great running back contracts are gone, but they're just not going to be as common because you're going to see more players get taken early. Also, Nyheim Hines somehow is what, RB 14?
Well, he blew up at that once Jonathan Taylor kind of dropped the ball a bit, and then Marlon Mack went down.
13. Yeah, like that just doesn't, to me.
I don't know if this year that is a good representation, just because like how I feel like so many teams have been impacted, because if it's not the RB themselves, it's the quarterback. That like inconsistent quarterback play has allowed defenses to load the box, right? So there's less success of top players. I mean, Zeke is a pretty good example. If you just look at this like latter half of his season, I mean, he looks, if for some reason I had a chance to keep him as a 3rd round, like if I was between maybe 2 longer keeper values, like I would probably just wait till the Rule 9 on Zeke, just because, yeah, his name's big, he's talented, but like this year's a sign that if Dak goes down again, Dak's not going to play. So
Zeke was a 1st round pick, so he's not going to be keeper.
No, I was just giving it as an example of like, I don't know. I feel like I'd rather keep I rather have my keepers be talents that are at a higher round level, or a higher round, or a later round.
Later, yeah, a larger number round.
Yeah.
Earlier and later, I think is a better way to put it. It's like, okay, I will always, like, Hunter and I have had this like argument before, because a handful of times I went to Vegas for work and Hunter did not go. It was a trade show I was going to, he wasn't, but he'd give me money to like bet on roulette for him. And he'd always tell me, like, if you're familiar with a roulette board, he would tell me to bet on the top 3rd. Like, what does that mean to you? Because it's not the official language that you use it in. Like, what 3rd of numbers is that to you on a roulette board?
One, it's the 1 or whatever. It's the top of the board.
Okay, but that's not what he means.
Interesting.
Like Hunter means like the
Like
biggest
the
number.
highest third.
Yeah, like the highest numbers. But like, I don't know. Maybe that is what he means. And to me, like,
That
to me,
sounds
like,
like the plot of a Buddy Hijinks Vegas movie.
but they're called on the roulette table. It's literally it's like first 12, second 12, third 12, and Hunter says top third. I'm like, that doesn't mean any like I'm gonna bet like on like I know like it's been a while since I've gone for him. Like I knew what he meant because there's also like he always likes to go in the middle column and he likes to go on odd and black, and he's got a whole bunch of other things. Like I know, like we always got to bet the breadsticks as number 11. That's a great story too, actually. By the way, that I don't know that all of you guys have heard before. Have I told you about Spencer's bachelor party in Tahoe?
Should we save it for when we're done talking about playoffs next week?
Yeah.
Slash it.
We'll have to, yeah, we're gonna have to record that story, especially now Spencer's in the league. But we had a wonderful time at Tahoe that basically started out with us hitting it big on roulette to start the night, and it got better from there. Yeah, okay. Anything else? Is like looking at the league. I mean, I've got the matchups for next week up. We kind of talked about at the beginning what needs to happen for everyone to like shuffle around playoffs wise. I don't think we need to rehash any of that. How are you guys feeling about your chances in the consolation playoffs?
I feel good. Chubb's back. That's big for me. That's been like the thorn in my side. Zach Ertz is coming back. Deshaun Watson's looking good, although Fuller's out. I just feel, I guess, great I had that one win. And then I get smacked in the face with the 200-point week, and I don't know why my confidence is still hanging around.
I probably would have felt more confident leaving last week into the consolation playoffs, but Fuller was like kind of the final blow there. That it's like I could still roll out Judy and Crowder, but it's all dependent if Denver can figure out their COVID issue. Hoyt, go ahead and give Elway a call and figure that out. But I feel probably the same way that you have Chubb coming back. I feel better with Eckler coming back. So I at least have some hope. But then again, it's a consolation bracket, and I tend to turn off looking at the scores. I'll always set a team that I think can have a chance. But
you just got to win 1 out of 2 to not finish in last. You got to win 1 out of 2 to not finish in last place in that toilet bowl.
I forgot. I almost got the license plate last year, I think.
Yeah, I believe, was it Travis that actually finished in last? Oh, I think so, because I have it. I have the license plate frame, and I was going to hand deliver it to him at the same time I got the championship trophy picked up from Kevin. But I do have a license plate frame that says I suck at fantasy football that I'll be delivering to someone at some point. And
as long as it doesn't end in the person who's in the last place now, I'm fine, because you're shipping that to Texas.
Well, maybe I'll wait till I can hand deliver it to you and come visit you in Austin.
Yeah, that seems like a good excuse.
Yeah, it's good of an excuse as any. Did you guys come up with bold predictions for this week? Or are you going to try to wing one again, Nabil?
Yeah, if I can get back-to-back wins, if I can end with 4 wins, I'll feel good. Go at 4. Or
that's the bold prediction, that you're going to get a win?
I'm gonna get. It's fun because it's me and you, so maybe we should kind of come up with something, or maybe James, you should choose a position that Chris and I can't play or something, or.
Whoa! That's a little bit too much.
Let's do it, James.
That he can't fit. No.
No.
I'm fighting for seeding.
I'm fighting for seeding too.
I will. Okay, hold on. I do want to talk about my team a little bit. I do want to point out one. James, thank you for trading me Younghoe Koo. That if like looking at my matchups, that could end up being a huge part of my run to the championship. Like there's really 2 things that are going to stand out. One, it was the Chicago Bears defense scoring that touchdown on Monday Night Football to help me beat Travis in week 10. I'm pulling that up right now because I only beat him by 2, and it's all thanks to the Bears. And then obviously this last week, the trade for Younghoe Koo absolutely paid off. So again, thank you, James, for for making sure we could get a deal out of that. So, in totally unrelated news, kickers and defenses are going nowhere in our league. But I want to point out that I have Godwin and Fournette Jones on bye this week, and I was very, very nervous about having to get all the way to week 13 and still get a win. Like, this was in the back of my head a lot, but I never wanted to bring it up during the podcast that like I needed to win. Like, I probably need to win out, but like I don't think I have a great shot at week 13 because I'm going to have to go with maybe not the highest projected ever with Godwin and Jones on bye, but who knows? This probably is ended up working out just great. So again, thanks. Let's make that switch right now. Anyway, thanks James for sending me coup. That helped a lot. Nabil, I'm glad I'm glad that I don't have to win against you, but I do still think I'm gonna, and I'm not letting James.
James, send us a position. We're doing it. We're putting
we're
money on
not.
it.
I literally like I don't have it like.
You have to have one player in your starting lineup that's first name starts with a vowel.
Aaron Rodgers.
All right, you did it, Chris. Nabil, you can only start vowels.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I'll do that with you. Have to make some roster moves.
Yeah, my James, you got any bold predictions?
I bet for a second week in a row, someone puts up 200 or more points.
That's bold. So that's bold.
There's been 3 of it. Oh, don't look at me like that's bold. Whatever. He just pulled something out of his ass. I get. My bold prediction is someone gets 4 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns.
That's bold. Understand what you're supposed to do.
My bold prediction is that Kevin's going to end up chasing down Travis and winning the total points contest. He's 36 points behind him. I know that's not honestly super bold. It's like, someone winning by 36, but because Travis had such a massive lead for so long, it's felt inevitable that, or not Kevin, Rocha is going to catch Travis. Sorry. But it's felt like for so long that like Rocha's been like kind of like just like inching his way towards him, and he hasn't had that like big breakout. And I feel like it's been that kind of year for Travis, and I don't see why it wouldn't end that way with just another like poor effort. And Travis, maybe I'm giving you the reverse jinx by predicting you won't do well, you do well, and you'll end up pulling down your second ever top regular season point scorer. Anything else that either one of you guys have? I feel like we're kind of all over the place as we're trying to wrap this up.
Yeah, you are.
I am. But I have lots of thoughts, and I didn't even tell my Spencer's bachelor party story yet.
That's what we're gonna open with it next week.
Yeah, the thing is,
that's the tease.
The thing is 4 of us in the league, so 4 of our listeners, like, we're there, and I've heard the story 100 times, but they'll appreciate it, I'm sure. Thanks a lot, you guys, for jumping on with me. James, you got anything else?
Nothing to plug. All good.
All right.
Nabil, do you want to plug your podcast?
No, it's on our company internal website.
Nabil, congratulations and good luck with the move to Austin. Please invite us out as soon as it's safe to do so.
Next draft that we can safely do it.
Yeah,
Austin, Texas.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.
Peace out.
Later.